Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we're opening up a really interesting topic. It's right at the crossroads of premium cars, electric power, and, well, the plain facts about what things cost every year. Our deep dive today is looking at how EVs are kind of shaking up the whole idea of owning a car versus, using one just when you need it.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got some great source material here that gives us two uh, related but distinct angles. So first, there's this Italian long-term car sharing thing called Corrente Plus. It's specifically set up to tackle those high ownership costs, especially for longer trips. And then on the other side, we've got the details on the actual cars they use, the Volvo XC40 and C40 Recharge, and how these same premium EVs are also being picked up by company fleets.
Right. So our goal here is to first kind of pull out the financial case for this more flexible way of using cars. And then look at the tech specs. What makes these Volvos good enough, robust enough for this kind of constant use, whether it's a business fleet or someone renting it for a whole month?
Okay.
Let's get into it. So we really have to start with the problem, right? The money side of things. The research immediately flags this big financial drain that people owning premium cars, segment C and D, are feeling.
It's definitely more than just the price tag you see at the dealership. Owners are talking about the compounding costs like high insurance, ongoing maintenance, especially with complex EVs, and then there's depreciation, which just hits hard.
Yeah, and the data had some really specific, kind of eye-opening examples of these, let's call them hidden costs.
Absolutely. One thing mentioned was competitor features like that Sentry mode for security. Apparently, it can drain the battery quite a bit, even when parked. The estimate was something like 5% drain per day just for that feature. They figured it adds up to maybe €200 a year just in electricity costs for, well, basically having the car watch itself.
Wow, €200 just for that one passive feature. That really highlights those little ongoing costs, doesn't it?
It does. And when you add it all together, insurance, upkeep, the money you lose as the car's value drops, the feeling among these owners,
Yeah.
according to the sources, is that you're essentially, and this is a quote, literally throwing away maybe 3,000 to 4,000 euro every single year.
Ouch. Okay, so that's the financial pain point we're starting
It's
about.
baseline, yeah.
So the solution that the research suggests is actually pretty straightforward. It's about pairing things up. You have a small electric city car for your daily running around, and you rent a bigger segment C or D car for those occasional long trips, holidays, that sort of thing. And this is exactly where a service like Corrente Plus comes in, advertised as a very advantageous option.
Right. It basically gives you a way out from all those ownership headaches. The source gives a price point around 600, maybe 660, and for that you get a premium, comfortable SUV for a whole month. And you're free from worrying about insurance bills, surprise maintenance, even things like hail damage risk, and critically, zero hit from depreciation for that month.
Okay, but let me push back a little here. If the annual loss is, say, 3 to 4,000 euros, and I pay, what, €660 for a month's rental for my summer holiday? Maybe I do that twice a year. That's over €1,300. Does that really save most people enough money to make them want to ditch owning the car altogether?
Well, it's not just about the raw numbers sometimes. It saves you the stress. It saves you from those unknown costs that pop up. That €3,000, 4,000 figure includes depreciation, remember? That's money you lose whether you drive the car or not. It's a sunk cost. The rental model changes that. It shifts the cost from owning the asset to paying for the use. You only pay for that premium capability when you actually need it for the long holiday, the big family trip. So it's more about being smart with your capital maybe than just pinching pennies.
Okay. Framing it as capital efficiency, that makes sense. So let's look closer at this Corrente Plus service itself. It's run by Tripper in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Corrente Plus is basically their premium offering. It lets users rent those higher-end electric Volvos, the XC40 and C40 SUVs. These are the cars they figure can handle the longer journeys that make a monthly rental worthwhile.
And the rental terms seem designed for that holiday use case you can rent from just one day up to 30 days straight. Plus, you can book it well in advance, like up to 60 days out, using a specific button in their app.
And just for comparison, their standard service, which apparently uses the smaller Volvo EX30, gives you a baseline. For that, a full month costs around €660 and includes a pretty decent 3,000 kilometers.
Now, one of the big perks of car sharing in Italian cities is often getting around regulations like ZTLs, the limited traffic zones. Do those benefits carry over to the premium Volvos in Corrente Plus?
They do, and that's a huge deal. You still get access to ZTLs, and you get free parking in the designated zones. That makes getting around the city incredibly easy, much easier than if you owned a traditional car there. It removes a lot of daily friction.
Okay, so the Corrente model shows the financial and practical argument for flexible use. Let's pivot now to the car itself. What makes this Volvo XC40 technically solid enough to cope with being used constantly, the wear and tear from fleets and these frequent longer rentals?
Yeah, that durability is crucial, isn't it? The XC40 Recharge has actually had some pretty significant updates since it first came out, specifically to boost range and efficiency. These updates make it much better suited for this kind of heavy use. The biggest shift happened for the 2024 model year.
Ah, yes, and that was a bit of a landmark moment for Volvo, wasn't it? Something about the drive system.
It really was. They brought in a single electric motor, a permanent magnet one, driving the rear wheels. And believe it or not, that made it the first rear-wheel drive Volvo in about 25 years. Quite a change. This new RWD setup was also paired with a slightly bigger battery pack, 82 kilowatt hours.
Okay, so if Corrente Plus relies on people taking these cars on genuinely long trips, range is absolutely key. How much difference did that RWD setup and bigger battery actually make in terms of miles?
A really significant difference. It turned the XC40 into a proper long-distance EV. The 2024 RWD single-motor version gets up to 293 miles of range. Now compare that to the older 2023 twin-motor, which is only getting about 223 miles. That's a huge jump.
Wow, nearly 300 miles.
Yeah, and even the updated 2024 twin motor got a boost up to 254 miles. But that 293-mile figure for the RWD, that's what really gives renters the confidence for a long haul without constantly worrying about the next charge.
Right, that range pushes it beyond just being a city or suburban EV into something you'd actually take on vacation. What about charging speed when you do have to stop on that long trip?
The bigger battery helped there too. It allows for faster DC charging up to 200 kilowatts. So what that means practically is you can pull into a fast charger during your Corrente Plus rental, and you can go from, say, 10% charge up to 80% in potentially as little as 28 minutes. Much better for road trips.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly to the corporate fleet angle from the sources. It mentioned a big hurdle for companies going electric isn't just the tech, it's what they called change management, getting the drivers on board.
Exactly. And this is where the XC40's design is actually quite clever, strategically speaking. It deliberately avoids looking like some kind of futuristic, tech-heavy EV spaceship that might put off drivers used to regular cars.
Ah, so familiarity is key for getting fleet drivers to accept it.
Hugely important. The XC40 Recharge looks almost identical to the regular gasoline XC40. Same size inside and out. So a driver can basically just jump in and go. They don't feel like they need a whole training session just to figure out the controls, on top of learning about charging. Plus, it still feels like a Volvo Premium, safe. It meets expectations.
And on the driving experience itself, what makes it easy for someone switching from a gas car?
The one-pedal driving feature gets mentioned a lot. It lets you control speed, both accelerating and braking, mostly just using the accelerator pedal, because the regenerative braking is quite strong. People find it really smooth, especially in stop-start city traffic. And you can adjust it, turn it off, have strong regen, or put it in an auto mode that adapts.
And the tech inside, the dashboard, infotainment. Is that user-friendly too? I think the source mentioned it was the first Volvo with the Google system.
That's right. It was the first to get that full Google Android-based infotainment system built in, and that's a big plus for ease of use and for safety in fleets. You get Google Assistant for voice commands, so you can just talk to the car naturally. Hey, Google, navigate to. Set temperature to 20 degrees, all hands-free. It runs on a nice, big 12.3-inch display, too.
Okay, finally, let's tackle that big practical issue. It affects the holiday renter and the business traveler, charging anxiety. The source acknowledged public charging can be patchy, describing it as oases in deserts.
It's a real concern. Volvo's approach seems to be tackling it through partnerships and in-car tech. The built-in navigation system is pretty crucial here because it shows you all the public charging stations available, at least in North America, according to the source.
And finding a charger is one thing, but paying can be another hassle, right? Different apps, cards.
They've tried to smooth that out, too. The system apparently integrates with ChargePoint, allowing drivers to start and pay for a charging session right from the car's screen without needing a separate card or app. Makes it a bit more seamless.
Looking forward, the source mentions something potentially massive for charging convenience: access to another network.
Oh yeah, the big one. Starting in 2025, Volvo EVs in North America are set to come with an adapter for Tesla's NACS ports. That immediately opens up access to something like 12,000 Tesla superchargers. That single move drastically reduces range anxiety for anyone taking a long trip, including those Corrente Plus renters eventually.
And there was also that specific partnership example, showing they're thinking about specific routes too.
Right, the Starbucks partnership. Volvo worked with them to set up a charging route about 1,350 miles long using chargers located at Starbucks stores. It connects cities like Seattle, Boise, Salt Lake City, Denver. It's about strategically placing chargers along common travel corridors to fill in those desert gaps.
But ultimately, whether you're renting or running a fleet, the single biggest charging advantage for an EV over a gasoline car is still charging at home, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. If you, as a driver, can get a level 2 charger installed at home, your reliance on public charging just plummets. You wake up every morning with a full tank. It completely bypasses the whole routine of going to the gas station. That's a huge lifestyle benefit, even before you talk about performance or running cost. So yeah, bringing the economics and the engineering together, what we see is that making premium EVs truly usable, especially for flexible models like rentals, really depends on having capable vehicles like this XC40 or C40. Their technical specs, especially that improved range like the 293 miles in the RWD version, directly supports the financial arguments for services like Corrente Plus. It validates the idea that you don't actually need to own the high-end car to benefit from its capabilities on longer trips.
So what's the bottom line here for you, maybe listening, as someone who drives a premium car now? The research we looked at suggests that being able to easily rent a really capable long-range EV for those medium or long trips, well, it seriously challenges the old assumption that you have to own that kind of vehicle year-round, with all the costs that involves. So here's the final thought for you to chew on. Given that figure from the sources, that potential 3,000 to 4,000 euro just evaporating each year in ownership costs, depreciation, insurance, upkeep, at what point does using a flexible service like Corrente Plus, maybe just for your holidays or occasional big trips, even at 660 euros a month, become not just convenient, but actually the smarter financial choice for most people? Something to think about next time that annual service bill lands.